Mention the word prenup, and 4 specific assumptions usually follow: that they are only for the wealthy, they signal a lack of trust, they act as a plan for divorce, and they are ultimately unenforceable in court. These stigmas remain part of the culture because we typically view marriage through an emotional lens rather than a legal one. Legally, a prenuptial agreement operates as a binding civil contract between 2 individuals. Avoiding this contract for the sake of emotional comfort leaves both partners exposed to unpredictable financial risks and the default laws of the state. To understand why, we have to look at the branch of civil law known as family law. Unlike criminal law, which punishes offenses against society, civil law provides a framework for private individuals to resolve disputes and define their own rights. Civil law treats marriage as a financial partnership, complete with shared obligations and legal property rights. Viewing marriage as a specialized partnership makes a prenup the logical operating agreement for that partnership. These contracts aren't just for trust funders. They protect everyday individuals. For instance, a prenup can ensure that one partner's pre-existing student loan debt remains their own responsibility. Nor is it a plan for failure. We buy car insurance to have a contingency plan for a crash, not because we intend to drive into a wall. The drafting process also requires a full disclosure of all assets and liabilities. This level of honesty often builds trust between partners, rather than eroding it. Communicating clearly about finances early on creates a more stable foundation for the years ahead. This contract allows you to categorize your assets, establishing a strict boundary between separate property and marital property. This boundary prevents a spouse's individual property from being used to satisfy the pre-existing debts or business liabilities of the other. It can also set mutually agreed-upon terms for spousal support or alimony, deciding these factors while the relationship is healthy. These protections allow couples to write their own financial rules instead of allowing default state laws to dictate their property rights. However, these contracts have absolute limits. Parents cannot legally use a civil agreement to contract away the rights of a child. Courts always retain the authority to decide child custody and support based on the child's best interests at the time of a dispute. Judges will also strike down illegal terms or frivolous lifestyle clauses, such as a document trying to enforce how often a spouse must do the dishes. A prenup is a tool for property and finance, not a mechanism to control personal behavior or bypass child welfare laws. When an agreement is challenged in a courtroom like this, judges will throw it out if it violates specific procedural rules. Common fatal flaws include hiding assets during the disclosure phase or presenting the document under duress, such as hours before the wedding. A judge will also invalidate the contract if both parties lacked independent legal counsel or if the terms are grossly unfair to one side. Even minor errors, like missing signatures or a lack of a notary stamp, can render the entire agreement void. Provided it follows the standard rules of contract law, a prenuptial agreement is a highly enforceable legal document. A properly drafted agreement allows a couple to define their own property rules and manage their financial future together. Since family law varies significantly from state to state, the default rules in your area may not be what you expect. This is why it is vital to seek independent legal advice before signing any marital agreement. Planning your finances through a civil contract provides the transparency needed to build a stable partnership.